Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in this evening. I'll give it a few minutes so that people can start trickling in. Let's see. Okay, we can get started. And before we do, just a few housekeeping things. Comments and questions will be taken after the presentation. And if you would like to participate in this meeting, you can do so by typing in your question using the Q&A feature here on Zoom or the raise your hand feature. And also you can call the Zoom's phone line at 1-669-900-9128 with meeting ID 839-6836-9208. Okay. My name is Melissa Hutauruk, and I am going to be talking about the proposed 2025 service change plan we have coming up. We will be discussing the background, the proposed route changes, next steps, and then we'll be able to go and answer some questions that you may have. So just a little bit of background. In late 2019, after extensive public outreach, the Gardena City Council approved a set of service improvements and changes scheduled for early 2020. So the proposed service, the approved changes included eliminating 6 midday trips to downtown LA, on the Line 1X, adjusting weekday running times to improve on-time performance on Line 2, adjusting weekend span of service and separating Saturday and Sunday schedules on Line 3, eliminating a segment of Line 4 operating between Hawthorne Boulevard and 147th Street and Manhattan Beach Boulevard and Crenshaw Boulevard. Let's see. However, some of the modified changes implemented, I'm sorry. However, due to COVID-19 restrictions, implementation of the approved changes were delayed and modifications to the service were made. And so some of the modified changes implemented included running a weekend schedule on the weekdays, adjusting frequencies, and suspending routes. However, after COVID-19 pandemic restrictions were gradually lifted, G-Trans developed the service restoration plan, as you see here, to restore services to pre-pandemic levels. And so far, G-Trans has successfully restored 3 out of the 5 proposed restoration plans. However, after extensive analysis and monitoring, we are quickly discovering that travel behaviors and patterns have significantly changed since the pandemic. Additionally, the changing landscape and conditions of our stops and routes, along with the nationwide shortage of operators, have posed challenges for our agency. So the proposed changes in this presentation reflect our commitment to improving service while considering current constraints and challenges. We plan to implement these changes in January 2025 and will continue to monitor their impact once they are in place. With that being said, the first changes we are proposing are on Line 1X. As a reminder, In 2019, we ran weekday service from Monday to Friday every 45 minutes from 5 a.m. to 10:21 p.m. from the Redondo Beach Sea Line Station to First and Main Street. We also ran weekend service every 45 minutes from 7:30 a.m. to 6:39 p.m. from the Redondo Beach Sea Line Station to the Harbor Freeway C and J Line Station. During the pandemic, we modified the service to run the weekend schedule Monday through Sunday, running every 45 minutes from 7:30 a.m. to 6:39 p.m. from Redondo Beach Sea Line Station to the Harbor Freeway C and J Line Station. And this is what we are currently running as of today. In 2019, a line-by-line analysis was conducted by Stantec. The study showed several key findings. Here in this slide, we see the average, the north and southbound weekday boardings and maximum load, as well as the trip load max and the seated capacity. Here, both the northbound and southbound max trip loads did not reach the seated capacity on any max trip loads throughout the day. The analysis also determined the departure loads to and from downtown. The following chart illustrates the minimum, maximum, and median values at each station, with each points representing the departure load for a Line 1X trip as a percent of seated capacity. We determined that the northbound or downtown-bound departure load at Harbor Freeway Station never exceeded 37% of seated capacity, and the southbound station never exceeds 47% of seated capacity at the Rosecrans Station. The median departure load for northbound trips is 12%, and for southbound trips, 11%. This indicates that the buses traveling to and from downtown LA are not used to their maximum capacity. Furthermore, this table on the slide shows boardings and alightings data by stops, showing that the majority of Line 1X riders use the route locally, with 86% and 78% alightings at Gardena stops. Overall, the data suggests that Line 1X has low ridership and demand. Buses to and from downtown are not used to their maximum capacity, with an average seated capacity of 14%, and that the majority of riders use Line 1X for local trips. We also did an analysis for 1X in 2024, which reaffirms the 2019 data. Travel patterns and behavior to and from downtown LA have fallen approximately by 17%. Therefore, we are proposing to officially eliminate all weekday service to downtown LA and permanently adopting the current modified schedule of running every 45 minutes, Monday through Sunday, from the Redondo Beach Sea Line Station to the Harbor Freeway C and J Line stations from 7:30 a.m. to 6:39 p.m. This means we are also proposing to eliminate the zone fare and make minor adjustments to add additional time to improve overall service. Here we have the proposed routing, again from Redondo Beach Sea Line Station to the Harbor Freeway C and J Line stations. And although we are proposing to eliminate the route to downtown, there are several alternative routes within the area that can get you to the downtown corridors, such as the Metro J Line running every 5 to 21 minutes, the LADOT Route 448 running approximately every 15 minutes, and Torrance Transit's 4X running approximately every hour. Next, we are proposing changes to the Line 2, and as a reminder, in 2019, we ran weekday and weekend service every 15 and 30 minutes from 4 a.m. on the weekday to 10 p.m. on the weekday and 5 to 9 p.m. on the weekend. We modified it to run weekend schedule every 30 minutes during the pandemic, and currently we've restored service to weekday and weekend service, weekday service running every 15 minutes and weekend service running every 30 minutes from 4 a.m. to approximately 10 p.m. from Normandy Avenue and PCH to Normandy Avenue and PCH. We're proposing minor adjustments to add additional running time on line 2 during the weekend peak periods. For line 3, as a reminder again, we ran weekday service Monday to Friday every 15 minutes from 5 a.m. to 9:30, and on the weekends every 30 minutes from 5:39 to 7:18 p.m. from the South Bay Galleria to the MLK Transit Center. During the pandemic, we modified the weekday service, the service to run at weekend services Monday through Sunday every 30 minutes, again from the South Bay Galleria to the MLK Transit Center. Currently, we have separated the weekday and weekend service running every 30 minutes from 5:39 a.m. to 8:20 p.m. on the weekday and 5:39 a.m. to 7:18 p.m. on the weekend from the new Redondo Beach Transit Center to the MLK Transit Center. And here on line 3, we're proposing to make minor time adjustments to improve on-time performance and overall service. Next, we have line 4, which in 2019, we ran just weekday service every 45 minutes from 5:27 a.m. to 7:05 p.m. from 147th Street, Hawthorne Street to Harbor Gateway Transit Center. However, during the pandemic, service was suspended, and currently the service is still on hold as staff is evaluating the line. Part of our evaluation included looking at the line data. Here you see the ridership data from 2019 showing that line 4 is the lowest performing route, with its ridership making up approximately 5% of all G-Trans ridership. Here we also see reports of boardings and alightings by popular stops on weekday loads, with major boardings and alightings occurring at Manhattan Beach Boulevard and Crenshaw Boulevard, Normandy Avenue and 135th Street, Normandy Avenue and Redondo Beach Boulevard, Normandy Avenue and 182nd Street, and Harbor Gateway Transit Center. Furthermore, the highest average loads occurred during the AM and PM peak periods, as you can see on the table here, with AM peak periods having an average load of 12 and PM peak periods having an average load of 16. This highly suggests that heavy loads and demands for line 4 occurred at the same time as the arrival and departure of students to Gardena High School. In summary, line 4 has low ridership and demand, with the route making up 5% of all G-Trans ridership. Average loads show more boardings during the AM and PM peak periods, and popular stops on weekday loads indicate ridership demand occurs at the same time as arrival and departure times of students to Gardena High School. Therefore, we're proposing to reduce service to 2 one-way eastbound AM peak trips and 2 one-way westbound PM peak trips. And the service is proposed to run all year except during winter, spring, and summer breaks. This will run Monday to Friday, approximately during the 7 to 8 a.m. time periods and 2 to 3 p.m. time periods from Manhattan Beach Boulevard and Crenshaw Boulevard to the Harbor Gateway Transit Center. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Here is the line 4 proposed routing, starting from Manhattan Beach Boulevard to the Harbor Gateway Transit Center. And although we are proposing, oh, I'm so sorry. And although we are proposing to reduce service to AM and PM peak periods only, G-Trans will have microtransit as an alternative solution to the reduction of Line 4 service. Microtransit is a shared ride service serving the general public and paratransit clients using small vehicles and our current G-Trans drivers. The service will run within the City of Gardena's boundaries, including key stops along Line 4 and within the existing paratransit boundaries. The service is scheduled to launch in the fall of 2024, and it will approximately cost 75 cents for eligible paratransit riders and $2 for the general public. The service will run Monday to Friday, approximately 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Next, we have the Line 5, which we are proposing to improve service to 30-minute frequencies. And as a reminder, in 2019, we operated a weekday service only from Monday to Friday, every 30 minutes from 4:35 a.m. to 8:57 p.m. During the pandemic, we modified the service to 60-minute frequencies, and since then we've restored it to 45-minute frequencies from the Aviation C Line station to the Willowbrooks Rosa Parks C Line and A Line station. In addition to the improvement of 30-minute frequencies, we are also proposing to add new weekend service at 30-minute frequencies from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. from the Aviation C Line station to the Willowbrook Rosa Parks C Line and A Line station. In summary, we are proposing to make changes on all our routes for the implementation in 2025. Currently, we are gathering community feedback with virtual and in-person meetings, which you are attending today, and the next in-person meeting will be a public hearing held on Wednesday, August 28th at 6 p.m. at Gardena City Hall's Council Chambers. After we gather all of this feedback, we are hoping to bring all of the proposed changes for council approval and then implementation in January 2025. With that, that concludes my presentation, and we will open up the floor to any questions or comments that you may have. Okay, we'll give it a few minutes. Okay, if no comments or questions, you may still submit any comments or questions to proposed changes at gardenabus.com, or you can call in at 310-965-8888. Oh, I'm sorry, we received a question here. Hello, can you elaborate on the details of the microtransit program? Sure. So our microtransit program is, again, a shared ride service. I'll go back to the slide. It's similar to Uber and Lyft. However, we will be using our vehicles and our drivers, and we will be running within the City of Gardena's boundaries. And so that means we will connect to stops we will utilize stops on our existing routes, such as Line 4, Line 2, and we will try to connect you to other lines like the Metro lines or Torrance lines as long as it's within the boundaries, the city of Gardena's boundaries. We are hoping to connect people to the Harbor Gateway Transit Center, but again, currently we are operating the service only within the boundaries of this city. So we are looking into maybe expanding that service if there's a demand, but of course that's further down the line, and we hope to launch. We anticipate to launch in fall 2024. And once we have more details on the program, we will let everyone know and keep you updated through our website and through our social media sites as well. Okay. Thank you, Jaime, about your comment here about the service changes. We hope that these service changes improves our overall service and help everyone connect to wherever they need to get to. Okay. Okay, any more questions? Okay, Jeff, I see your question here. Is there a tentative fare structure available for public review on the microtransit program? We did do a meeting to talk about the program as a whole back in 2023, I believe, and there we um, um, highlighted our fare structure and the overall service characteristics, but we will let you know. And if there's any upcoming meetings regarding microtransit, again, we'll share it on our website and our social media pages as well. Okay. Okay, I have a question here from Jaime. Will the meeting next week make these proposed changes official? Once we have the public hearing, we will gather all of the feedback and um, we will bring these changes along with the feedback to City Council for approval. And after that meeting, we will know if we will be implementing the changes in January 2025. Okay. And of course, just to reiterate, you may still submit any questions or comments to proposed changes at gardenabus.com or call in to make a comment as well. Okay. If there aren't any more questions or comments, this concludes the presentation. Thank you everyone for taking the time to listen in about our changes, and for updates, please keep an eye out on our website and social media pages as well. Thank you.